Welcome to Real Life and Real Estate. I'm Nikki Robbs, a local real estate agent serving Tacoma, Puyallup, and beyond. Now, today is going to be an audio-only recording for a variety of reasons, and one is which I don't want to put on makeup. So there's the real life part of real estate, the real life part of doing a podcast about your profession. So today, as I think you've noticed if you've been with me for a little while, a lot of these topics that I talk about without a guest are topics that have come up with a client specifically, or in a recent first-time homebuyer class, or someone has asked me a question and I thought that deserves to get explored wider. Well, in this case, and I did talk about it on Instagram, but as someone pointed out, Instagram stories only last 24 hours, and this will last forever. So something that came up was, how do you get out of a real estate transaction? That is the topic today. I'm going to focus on buyers. So buyers and future buyers and homeowners that are future buyers. Everyone listening, I'm going to try and keep this simple, but I know sometimes I really get into the topic and you may zone out. That's okay. Just come on back some other time. But I think we'll keep it simple, to the point. It won't be that complicated. So buyers, here's the example. You have found the house that you love and you've put in an offer and your offer has been accepted. Fantastic. That's the day we all celebrate. That's the day we all put on social media, our offer was accepted. This house is now pending. We are now moving forward into the inspection phase. Woohoo. Or if you waived your inspection, then we're moving forward to the appraisal stage. We're just moving forward to another stage. There's always a few things that go on between they accepted the offer and closing day. And that can take 21, 28, 30 days, 45 days in some cases, sometimes longer. We have built in several contingencies where things can be evaluated. I mean, one way of saying it is that things can fall apart at 3 different stages, but really things can be evaluated, and that protects both the seller on one end, it protects the buyer on some of them. One of those things is inspection. Now, for most people, when you're buying a single family home, you're buying your home for your family, for whatever your family makeup is, whether that's you as a single person that is planning on having roommates in the future, or whether that's you as a single person buying an investment property, or you as a couple, or you as a family with fur babies, or you as a family with kids. It doesn't matter what the family makeup is, but I'm just going to use the term family loosely, okay? So you're buying your home, your single family home, and you got to tour it at least once. Maybe you weren't at an open house. Maybe your agent got you a private tour, and this is the house you love. You've been in it. One of my markers for buyers that know the house that they want to be in is that they don't want to leave. That's when I know, okay, this is really a house worth putting in an offer. But what about when you're buying a house that doesn't allow showings? So that's where the inspection contingency also comes into play. It's not just because we need to do an inspection so that you can be aware of the needs of the house, the quality of the house, the potential repairs of the house, but also what's going on. And if this is an investment property or a multifamily, so a duplex, a triplex, something like that, or maybe the home just didn't allow showings. If for any reason it is one of those properties that doesn't allow showings and then says that showings are allowed only after mutual, that means after your offer is accepted. Then what? So we celebrate the day that your offer is accepted, but now we're moving forward into you're finally getting to see the house and its inspection time all at the same time. So this happened recently for a buyer of mine where it was a duplex. There were no showings until mutual. So the offer was accepted. We're at the inspection and we're seeing the inside of the home for the very first time. And this revealed a lot about the home that we wish we could have seen sooner. And I don't want to accidentally disparage the home or the agent or the owner. This is in no way talking about any of those things. But sometimes you just don't know until you know, oh, this isn't the right property for me. And that can happen for a single family home just as much as it can be for a duplex or a triplex or anything else. Maybe the rose-colored glasses were on when you were at the showings, and then you get to the inspection and you're sitting around the house for a couple of hours while your inspector is telling you all the different things that may or may not need repair. And you're realizing, oh, I'm really thinking I have bitten off more than I can chew. I can't do this. I am not cut out for this. I don't have the budget. I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the know-how. I don't have the connections to do this. Now, many inspectors are going to walk you through that phase as well, help you realize that you're not expected to know it all. Doesn't have to be a DIY situation. And sometimes inspections also reveal that there's nothing left to do. The seller has done it all. No matter what happens here at inspection, we can remove ourselves from the contract at this point. So what would happen is you receive the inspection and we have to put our response in a new form called the response to inspection. And there are 3 choices here. One is buyer chooses to move forward without asking for any repairs. One is that the buyer is choosing to move forward and here are the repairs or credit that we're asking for. And the third one is that buyer is choosing to terminate the agreement. If you choose to terminate the agreement at this point, it takes about 24 hours to get all the paperwork. There's another form to release the earnest money, and your earnest money comes back to you. So while this isn't a favorite, it's something that we do need to talk about. When I get to represent the seller, sometimes we have had buyers terminate their contract at inspection for a huge variety of reasons. Now, my buyers have only done this once, but I've been on the other side and we've heard things like cold feet, or one of the deciding parties hadn't seen the home yet and this was their first chance and it didn't meet their goals. When you're buying a home and you're a part of a couple, or maybe you've got a co-signer in the family, it's got to meet everybody's goals. Everyone has to walk away happy with this. It's a lot of money. It's a huge life decision. So the selling agent would be able to put the home back on the market and say, okay, we're back, maybe with a small price adjustment. Buyer got cold feet or buyer financing or whatever they may say about the buyer, doesn't really matter. But when we represent the buyer, it's harder to talk about. What do you say? My client realizes they made a mistake, or my client realizes there's more than they want to do. Yeah. So that's what I put out there last week. I put out that we were reconsidering. Now that we know more about the property, now that we're at the property, getting a really good inside look and the inspection, we're realizing that this particular property isn't going to meet my client's goals. The buyer is not super happy with this particular property. The great news is the earnest money is coming right back. So what do you do? What do you do when you are at a house, your offer has been accepted, and you're realizing this actually isn't going to work? And maybe it's something like you discovered the whole neighborhood can fill a bus of children, but you're in your empty nest phase. Maybe it's that you discovered the HOA rules, right? Because there is a time period when you should be receiving the HOA rules. You discover the HOA rules are either too lax or too strict, and they're not going to meet your goals either. What if you discover that there's no RV parking anywhere on your property? And that was a big part of the selling point, that there was room to park an RV on the property. There are so many reasons that it may happen to you. Coming early during the inspection phase is a very, very good time to make that decision that this is not going to move forward. There is another time, and that is the financing contingency, which actually usually lasts about 21 days. That is really, really not our favorite, and it is limited to financing. So if you were to have a significant job change or a strike, as we are having right now in the Pacific Northwest, a very significant strike is going on. If the financing falls through, if you were banking on an inheritance and then it doesn't come, failed financing is a contingency where you can get out of that contract. And most of the time, for many, many reasons, you can get your earnest money back. I won't say that it's every time, but it is many times. The last time is at appraisal. That's also not an ideal time to withdraw from a contract. So when you're looking at homes, please make sure that all the decision makers get an early look at that home. If you have a cosigner, or you have you're a married couple or unmarried but filing jointly, all those kinds of relationships where two people are going to be significantly impacted, then make sure they're at least one showing. Try, even if it's two showings that are separate showings to accommodate the schedule, make sure everyone gets to see that house and do a really good walkthrough. Make sure that all the deciders get a copy of the inspection, not just one person. Your inspector that you hire can definitely email that to as many people as need to be on it. We are seeing plenty of times where first-time home buyers have a family member, like a long, not a long lost uncle, but other family members, uncles and dads and parents and grandparents of all kinds, that may be a cosigner on the home to help them get that down payment or get over some credit hurdles temporarily. And they want to make sure it's a good investment. So bring them along for the ride, bring them early, have a lot of open discussions with your real estate agent and with your financing about who's got what concerns. We want your concerns to be addressed, and we want them to be addressed early. So that's the story. That is, oops, what if I made a mistake? Oh no, I don't like the house anymore. Oh dear, this yard isn't what it is. Oh my goodness, I can't have chickens in the city. Oh, well, this county doesn't allow that. You never know what it might be. And getting out within the first 7 to 10 days, or with whatever the inspection window is the ideal time to get out. This also benefits the seller by getting out so early that they can get right back on the market and not have lost very much time. That is a big consideration for sellers, is that the time that we spend doing inspection is time that they cannot be marketing to other buyers. So I hope that gives a brief overview of all the potential, not all the potential, but the most common reasons why people will back out of a real estate contract. So I'm not sure I should title this Oops, I Did It Again, but maybe Oops, I'm Buying the Wrong Home. Maybe it'll be like that. We shall see. So thanks for listening. If you'd like more information about buying or selling a home in the Tacoma, Puyallup, and Pierce County area, please look me up, www.nickierobbshomes.com, or email me at nickierobbshomes@gmail.com, and find me on social media. It's pretty darn easy at this point, because if you can spell NICKIEROBBS, I'm the only one. So thanks very much. My editor and producer had the day off. Thanks for everything you do, Will. And we'll see you next time here at Nikki Robbs Homes, Real Life and Real Estate.